Hi, what's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel. And for those of you that are new here, today I want to focus on a new palette by DIOR. This is part of the 2023 spring and summer collection. I was a little confused when this came out, but it was on the website, so I decided to pick it up. I actually reserved this filming space for my Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk face palette, but unfortunately my Pillow Talk face palette decided to not show up, and it's going to be here on Monday, so that one is going to be late. So this is sort of a little bit of a bonus video. I'm really getting into DIOR eyeshadows since this year, and I have been bulking up my collection, and this palette is new to me. But when I saw this palette on Chic Profile Official's Instagram, she immediately said it looks exactly the same as Cruise Look, which was last year's, I think, fashion palette. So you can see the photo that she had here, and they look exactly the same. Basically, if you have Cruise Look, I don't think you should watch this video because you don't need this palette. I did do some scouring in my collection, and I did find a dupe for it actually in just my own DIOR collection, even though I don't have Cruise Look. So continue on watching, but let's first get some details out of the way. This is the beautiful little palette that I'm talking about. This is a nice quint 5-pan palette called Prêt-à-Porter. Prêt-à-Porter. You know, French names really trip me up. I'm not French, clearly, but I did want to pick this up. It looks like a beautiful wearable palette, and I was confused about this whole spring and summer 2023, but someone on Instagram explained to me that this particular quint follows the DIOR fashion house and not just DIOR beauty in itself. I don't know why that is. Maybe this was a palette that came out for maybe the runway. I have no idea, but it looks like a nice wearable palette and something that's very up my alley. Now, if you see the lighting change, it's because the sun keeps on leaving and coming and leaving and coming. That's going to be throughout the entire video. It's kind of what happens when you're doing this whole natural light kind of thing. Try to pay it no mind. I do have a little ring light on to try to keep the lighting consistent, but unfortunately, you know, it is what it is. So for some details, this palette has 7 grams net weight, and it is made in France. There's a 6-month shelf life like most of the DIOR palettes, and you can see the ingredient list down the back. I paid 67 euros for this palette, whereas the new Miss DIOR palette I paid 64 euros for. There is a difference there. So I think I messed up in that video. If you want to see that video where I tried the Miss DIOR palette for the first time. That's a really cute palette as well. Now, like most quints, DIOR has 5 shades. You know, the name says it all. And most of the shades in this palette are satins. I think all of them are satins except for that beautiful kind of bricky red toned color. I absolutely am in love with that color, but even that one doesn't feel like a flat matte. I think it's an interesting thing that DIOR decided to do a heap of satin shades, but it does really look really beautiful on the eyes. I do like the satin formula of DIOR. Before I go into the demo, I do want to go ahead and share you guys the dupe I found in my collection, and that is the Wild Raffia palette. This is a palette part of the core line, so not limited edition, and this is the Prêt-à-Porter. At first glance, maybe you guys are like, what are you guys talking about? They don't look alike at all, but trust me guys, other than that bricky red shade in the Prêt-à-Porter palette, the Wild Raffia is basically like a full-blown dupe. If you see them from really close up, you start to see the similarities between the golds, the lightest shade, the middle shade, also similar. They look incredibly similar. I did go ahead and swatch them for you guys right next to each other, and you see that they basically follow the same storyline. The biggest differences are that the gold in the Wild Raffia palette is more goldy, whereas the one in Prêt-à-Porter is a bit more muted, more champagne-y. The lightest shade in both palettes looks the same in tone, but the one in Wild Raffia adds more glitter reflex. Same goes for the middle shade. They have the exact same tones, but there is more reflect in the Wild Raffia one. Now, the kind of brown shade in this palette looks almost exactly the same as the Wild Raffia palette. It's crazy, and the only true difference in color is that bricky red shade, which is literally the only one I could say is a true distinction of the two. I will link both the palettes down below. You can shop my affiliate links if you're interested in one of these palettes. I do earn a little bit of commission when you use one of my affiliate links, and every commission that I earn actually goes right back into my channel. think better lighting, for example. I'm definitely trying to save up for some better lighting. Anyway, guys, I think I have all the swatches, details, and just, you know, palettes showing out of the way. Let's go into the demo, and I'll make sure to also put a little palette on the side so you can follow along with me. So that was the demo of this beautiful little palette. I decided to line my eyes with a little bit of the Victoria Beckham Beauty Satin Kajal liner in the shade Cocoa or Cacao on top, and I did the Satin Kajal liner in bronze down the bottom. I actually think that worked out really well, and I really like the way that this turned out. Now, I do have some thoughts. I'm confused as to why Dior felt the need to follow their fashion house. I know that Dior fashion is, you know, the main component of Dior, but none of the other launches is following the fashion portion. If you know the answer, please let me know in the comment section down below. Second, in terms of duping yourself, I do find it a little odd that you can get two palettes that look nearly exactly the same as the one that you are launching for your spring and summer 2023. I was very happy I didn't have Cruise Look, because I was like, well, all the more reason for me to pick up this little number. And I do think it wears beautifully. It does look like a beautiful eye. Also, formulation wise, there's nothing wrong with the formulation. They all blended out fine, and it does look really nice. In the end, the colors worked out really nice. I was a little intimidated by the bricky red shade, but it pulled more brown tone on me than red tones. Sometimes red tones can look like they can make me look a little ill because I feel like I'm so yellow. So therefore, if a lot of red is being thrown at me, it makes me look like I need some antihistamine or something. You know what I mean? This didn't give me that at all, and I also like that this gold shade right here is a very muted gold. For some reason, that just really works on my skin color. You have something for the inner corner if you're into that. You have something to deepen out the crease area or just, you know, the outer corner. So you can go kind of that smoky eye. It's still a very wearable palette. It's not too overpowering. The shades aren't too pigmented, so you can't work with them. And the gold is kind of muted. Now, if I'm looking at both of these palettes side by side, and you're asking me which one to pick, I do feel like the Wild Raffia palette holds a little bit more finishes and in the end gives for a more, I guess, gleaming eye. There's no topper shade in the Wild Raffia palette either, but because of the finishes, you know, for example, that middle shade and that lightest shade, both of them have a little bit more intensity, which makes your eye look like it has more dimension. The Wild Raffia palette does pull very gold on me, so way more gold than the Prêt-à-Porter. And if you are not into kind of that goldy type of eye, then maybe the Prêt-à-Porter is the one for you out of the two of these. All in all, I really like Dior shadows, so I'll always be recommending Dior shadows if I feel the shadows are performing like they should. Sometimes Dior with their limited edition can kind of disappoint you in terms of, you know, the way the shadows perform. I kind of had that with the Golden Bouquet palette that came out. I also have a review on that if you want to see that. I'll just make a Dior playlist and then you can see the Dior playlist and just see all the palettes that I have. because it's starting to get there. Like, I'm really beefing up my collection to do maybe like a palette roundup video. I would love that. Anyway, back to just this video. Guys, the palette is beautiful, but if you have anything like this, I can imagine you skipping on this palette and maybe checking out the holiday collection palettes. I'm not sure if I'm gonna pick up the holiday collection of this year. Neither color story you know, calls to me, but if there's a lot of demand for them, you let me know in the comment section down below, then maybe I'll pick one up for review. If I don't hear of anything, then I'm gonna skip the holiday collection of Dior this time around. And Dior has a ton of launches in the future. I know so because I've been trying to follow Dior and I can barely keep up. So you'll see me review Dior a lot on this channel. If it's something that you like, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. If you just want to just chill out with me and talk Dior, make sure to comment down below and I'll make sure to comment back and just nerd out with you in the comment section. I love that. You can also DM me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Sonia__Butler. And I have been more active on Instagram. I do show the products on Instagram before I show them on YouTube. So if you want to see my newest makeup, then make sure to follow me on Instagram as well. Anyway, guys, I hope this is going to be a nice, concise, short video for you all. And I hope you guys have a beautiful day. It's the 1st of October, so that means Halloween is coming up. So I can't wait for the makeup industry to just blow up with all their collections, also for the holiday. And I can't wait to see what's in store next. I want to say my goodbyes here. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!